We are live.
Hi.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
It's the last day of 2020.
Yeah, I know. We're so excited. It's Charlotte and Jessica here coming to you live from Pensacola, Florida.
That's right.
In the beautiful
Aragon Wine
Aragon
Market,
Wine Market.
right here downtown. I love when people are like, "Oh, did you guys just open?" No, we've been here for 12 years. Thank you so much for coming in.
I know, and for a while, it's been a little while, but people used to come in and they go, "It smells so new in here," and I was like, "Well, that's great. I'm glad it smells clean." Or people could tell the wood, the woodwork, that it was all fresh and new and everything. But
I love it.
So I hope that people are. Thank you guys for joining us for New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve looks a little different this New Year's compared to the last ever New Year's we've all had. Mm-hmm. This is brave new territory, and I think that we're all happy to say goodbye to 2020. Hoping for a better 2021, and we'll see where we go from here.
Definitely. We talked a little bit about a couple of different approaches of what we wanted to, go through, and I know everybody talks about New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are you going to do any resolutions? Are you a resolution person?
I am not a resolution
person. Should we bring
person.
Fix into this early on? I feel like Fix should join us.
Let's grab Fix. There's no reason not to grab Fix. Oh, that looks weird. Let's see.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh,
Hi.
better. I like that.
Michael Fix from Winebow is joining us. Thank you, Michael, for joining us on New Year's Eve. We've enjoyed having you for the last, since April, however many months that is. And it's been wonderful. And I want to just real quick give a big thank you to Michael, because he has
round of applause.
He's really set up all these. If you've seen these wonderful events that we've been able to have with winemakers, with people in the trade, all of the people, sommeliers, just like all the people that we've learned so much from over the last almost year.
Absolutely.
Michael has done all that work.
Mm-hmm.
He's reached out to all these people and set that all up, and we've been able to benefit from his hard work. And so thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. I bribed them all with dinners that you were supposed to pay for when they start traveling again. So just to keep you aware of that.
We're okay with that.
Yes,
we're working on this sound. We got a little feedback, but I'll work on it.
Yeah, so, I'm perfectly fine with that. I know that we've got a lot of great restaurants that are still going despite 2020 COVID restrictions, and we love that about our local restaurants. Troubadour is one of my favorites that I know you'll be seeing tonight. Wine Bar, Pot Roast and Pinot is going to be changing concepts next year. So it's just Union Public House. I just
Union
love
Public House. For me, a couple of go-tos are always Cons and Nom. I love that whole.
Shout out to all the local restaurants.
All of them.
We probably missed quite a few. So we were talking about New Year's resolutions, Michael. Are you a New Year's resolution person? I am not. But I did make one this year, but I'm not.
I usually set myself up for one or two little things. I never fall into this. I know a lot of people fall into the sort of whatever health thing they want to do. And I always feel like that is one of the most difficult things you can set yourself up for. I feel like, because it's usually one of the hardest things. It's one of the biggest lifestyle changes. So one of the things that I'm actually wanting to do, one of my New Year's resolutions, is to get back into photography. Because I did that a lot when I was in college, took some courses, and I had like my great little 35 millimeter camera that had film in it. Remember film?
Yeah.
Which long story to that, but I was a very poor college student living on my own, and I ended up having to hawk that camera so I could actually buy food. So I want to go back and do that, but I'm going to have to buy a digital camera because there's no way I can deal with film right now. You can still do it, but it's very arduous. So that's one thing I want to get back into, and I have actually a project in the works that I've been wanting to do for a number of years that I've been putting off. So it's going to be a photojournalism project that I want to work on. I'm going to do this year.
That's awesome.
One of them. I'll keep a few of the other ones to myself. But
yeah, well, this is, going out to everybody, and we'll be on YouTube for life.
Forever.
So you might want to keep some of them to yourself. What
So
about
what's yours?
Oh, okay. Well, I would say mine is a health related one. I want to get heart healthy. I want to give up red meat and fried foods, and drink more red wine.
Nice. That balance there.
Yeah.
easily, I can be your coach on that. I can be your life coach there. No problem.
Sounds good.
Were you just muted for that?
No, you can hear me,
Can you
right?
hear her? I think so.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
Oh, Laurent. Hello.
Hello, Laurent.
Happy anniversary. Happy New Year. Thank you. I almost said happy anniversary. Kathleen and Laurent are joining us. Thank you guys for tuning in. We are just talking about some of our New Year's resolutions.
That's right.
I just have heart healthy issues that I'd like to, not issues, but goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What about you?
I normally am not a resolution person, and I've always been pretty adamant about that. If there's something that I feel like I need to do, then I'm going to do it. And if there's something that I want to work on myself, then noticing it, and that's the first step. And so I'm going to take action and do it. So I've never really been a resolution person, but I think one of the things that I got really, and I talked about this at the beginning of the year, I did a webcast with a group of wedding professionals, and wed talks with Ramsey and a videographer. And it was wonderful, and it was a really cool experience. And I talked about being punched with priorities. And so for me in 2021, I'm just really going to hone in on everything that 2020 brought to light. And those priorities were, immediately family, self within, but within that is career, health, leisure, lifestyle, recreation, like all those things that make you. And so really getting back to like doing it instead of planning it. And thinking about it, because we had all of 2021 to sit and think about so much that for me, that's where I want to take 2021. Is punch with priorities and to hone in on that. And I mean, I know this year has been great for you in a number of ways, and you brought to light that really was, it changed your perspective on an approach on things. And sometimes it takes that kind of, it takes a 2020 to, make you see what those priorities are. And so that certainly wasn't what it was to me, And I think seeing old friends, I want to be there. I want to show up. I want to,
I think that was the big lesson of 2020 was priorities. And, it makes you, put things in priorities. And unfortunately, getting healthy wasn't one of mine in 2020. I was just sitting on my butt, eating and drinking, and which was fine. And it made me think. And so you think about things and then you decide, okay, let's put them into action. So
I loved one of the memes that came, obviously there have been so many, but one of them that was funny and then, but also not, excuse me. Was we're all in this together, but we're not all in the same boat. Some of us are in a yacht, some of us are in a canoe, some of us are swimming, and some of us can barely keep our head above water. And that kind of perspective of those priorities are so vastly different for everyone.
That's right.
And being able to appreciate that and understand that and take a giant step back in and absorb all of it. So in 2021, going to be punched with priorities, and I'll come up with a new punchline. But
exactly.
So not normally a resolution person, but that's me, just honing in and focusing on that. So.
And if anybody else has any New Year's resolutions,
we want to hear.
We'd love to hear them.
Definitely.
This is an interactive show, so please feel free to just do a little comments. Let us know what you're thinking.
Charlotte always says this section, but I wanted to say it again because we do always get people that ask, what is a virtual wine tasting and how does that even work? So like she just said, it is interactive. Every week we announce the wines that we're going to be doing for the upcoming week, giving you as our customer an opportunity to purchase them in the shop. If you don't live here locally, certainly that's fine, and you care about us and you want to buy them abroad, they are, certainly sometimes available. But come in the shop and buy them. You take them home and then pop them open. We go live every week at 6 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah.
And we've traveled the world this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't say this at the beginning, but we've definitely decided to continue with the COVID rates are going up in Escambia County. So we're going to continue to do the virtual wine tastings at least through January. Stay tuned for the end, and we'll tell you what we're doing next week, because that's going to be really fun. It's going to be something different that we haven't done yet. Yeah. So, but the first wine that we are starting with tonight, maybe Fix can give us a little background on. I will give you the background on it, in that I've been drinking it for probably at least 12 years, maybe longer, since we've been open. It's my favorite inexpensive bubbly. It's from France. I named my dog after it. Anybody got a guess? Anyway, it's Francois Montan. But this time, it's in the holiday package. So how awesome is this holiday package that we've got going?
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna have to save that bottle, because this is the first year that I've ever seen Francois Montan do a holiday pack, which is awesome. All the bubblies we've got, and I won't name too many because Fix doesn't sell all of them, but we've got a lot of great bubblies in the store right now. Yes, everybody's getting theirs for New Year's, but bubbly is good anytime, all the time in my book. So Francois Montan is our first one tonight. Fix, you want to give us a little rundown on it?
Yeah, so this is the first year they've ever done a different label on the bottle. And it's because they have 25th anniversary now in the United States. So this was kind of a celebratory event. They started sort of trickling it out a couple of months ago. Can you hear me okay?
We can. I was just going to say, they didn't really market that, because I was looking on their website for this bottle picture specifically to promote it, and they didn't have limited edition. They didn't really note that. So that's cool to know. So for 25 years, they've been just distributed in the US.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes. I mean, I don't know how long. I'm not sure exactly how long. I don't think they've been in, as an operating winery in France that much longer than that. But we are an open wine shop, as we.
I know. What is that all about?
But yeah. So we love Francois Montan for a variety of reasons, because it's a method champenois wine, so it's made like champagne, exactly the same method, bottle fermented, and it's a blanc de blanc wine, so it's made with all white grape.
Yeah.
In this case, other than a blanc de blanc champagne, which would be all Chardonnay, this actually has a couple other grapes in it. It has Colombard, Uni Blanc, and Chardonnay, and so it's a blanc de blanc champagne that you can get for, I don't know what we're selling it for right now. Is it $13.99?
Yeah, I think it's like $14 or something. I mean, it's great price.
And it's from the Jura area of France, so it's from a different area from Champagne, an area that we see, not a lot of wines of in the United States. So this is a good excuse for somebody to pick up some Jura wine, when most of the Jura wines are really hard to get and tend to be more expensive. So this is a good way to have something like champagne and get it from a really cool region where you normally wouldn't get it from.
Well, it is definitely something that you can afford to drink during the week, or, I mean, not everybody can, open a $60 bottle of champagne. What was that all about, girl? Sorry, we had issues up front.
She was at the wrong store. It's okay.
Obviously.
It's okay.
But so it is. It's an everyday drinker. I first started drinking the rosé. They'd make a bubbly rosé as well, and it's delicious. I don't know why I've just gone towards the brut more these days, but I mean, everything changes. Your palates change. When I first started drinking wine, I drank Zinfandel, Ravens with Zen. That was my thing.
My first wine that I ever tried was Louis Jadot. Puy Fousse.
That was kind of fancy.
It was fancy.
That's pretty fancy. Puy Fousse? Yeah.
I think we can
We're,
just mute
we're also
But we're
well
muted.
through. Montan is great because it's really terrific to have with all sorts of kinds of different food. If you want to have, I like to use it for spritzes too. You know, if you're gonna make like an Aperol spritz or for mimosas, because a lot of people use like some other, I won't mention the names, but they're not made champagne style, and they're pretty big brands that they use for their mimosas.
Yeah.
Whereas here you get something that's affordable, that's made exactly like champagne, that you don't have to. You get the best of both worlds. You get your good mimosa price,
Right.
but and not to say that this is a wine that's made exclusively for that. It's not. But I'm saying, like, if you want to have a mimosa that's got a little bit of oomph behind it, but isn't going to cost you 30, 40, 50 bucks.
Yeah,
right.
We always say you shouldn't use your champagne for mimosas, but whatever you want to do. I mean, if you like to use Laurent Perrier champagne for your mimosas, I hope I can become your friend, because I don't
Same.
mind that at
I
all.
feel the same way. I'm like, I've seen people. I'm on Facebook on this wine lovers page, which there's a lot of cool people, and you see all these great wines and stuff, and then sometimes somebody's drinking, you know, cupcake or barefoot, and you know, so, I mean, it's like a wide variety, and it's awesome, and it's very cool that you can go from high and low. But sometimes I'll see somebody and she's like, it's mimosa time, and it's something like Laurent Perrier, and I'm like, girl, don't put orange juice in that.
I think, and mimosa to me is also relative to. I like the like medicine dropper of juice.
Yes, the
like,
little dropper.
just a touch for
Yeah.
splash for
Well, if
color
you're
and
using
flavor.
Laurent Perrier, then you shouldn't
That's
be.
what I would definitely be doing. That Laurent Perrier for sure would just be a little drop.
Yeah.
But-
Well,
Yeah, but if this year's taught you anything, it's just to tell you that, you know what, just do whatever you, just drink the wine. Don't treat it like it's a trophy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there are some wines. I mean, if you can't afford to be popping those bottles all the time, that's cool. You know, not a lot of us really can. I mean, we're all just a few college students here anyway. We can barely, I mean, right? All three of us, I mean, we just got out of grad school. We're all 30 in this room right now, you know? I mean, like, so we can't afford that all the time.
yeah.
But,
No,
but
absolutely.
I mean, if you have a bottle and you've been meaning to open it for an occasion and you
It's
haven't
now.
found it, it's now, man.
Right.
Now. And there's nothing wrong with that. And, you know, or if you say, I don't know anybody that would appreciate this or whatever, drink it yourself. I mean, why not, right?
There was a beautiful blog or poem or something that I read years ago that was from a woman, and she said, and it was all about her cabinet full of beautiful china and her jewelry case of beautiful jewelry. And the short version is basically like, don't wait.
Yeah.
Use
Don't wait for an occasion.
Use the china, you know, wear the jewelry, dress up in your sparkles to go to work first thing in the morning, you know, dress up in sparkles to have New Year's in your home and have a bottle of champagne and celebrate. You know, when I started our newsletter this week, I started it with, we did it, like we made it, you know, and you know, wanted to kind of redirect my thoughts to something not so negative, but at the same time, it was like, we're here, let's celebrate. Celebrate that being here.
And 2020, you know, it's just another year. We'll see where it takes us. But
we talked about there were definitely some good things. There were some good things that we brought with us. What were the good things from this year for you?
For me, 2020, I really enjoyed sitting on the porch and watching like people get out of their house. And like the traffic there was no traffic, you know, where I live right on 9th Avenue. And so it's like busy traffic. It was nice to have, like, you could hear the birds singing. It felt like nature cooled down in the spring. We
had a beautiful spring.
Little people with their bikes out all the time, people picnicking, people sitting on their front porch. I loved doing that. And seeing that, I love seeing other people do that. And then just getting a little deeper, when we talked about prioritizing things, I think one of the things I learned is that when times get bad, it's really nice to be around the right people. And I feel like I've been around the right people this year, including you, and
That made my
by
list,
Josh.
too. Yes.
And I got engaged.
Yes.
So
Which she finally said it on the show, so now I can say it out loud.
Well, after 6 years, after 6 years, we're old. We didn't think we needed to, but it became a priority in 2020 that we thought we're going to do this. So 2021 will be another interesting year of stuff. So
magic.
Yeah. So what about you? What is your best parts of 2020?
I love what you said. The return to a focus of family, whether forced, or not with COVID. I think it provided people an opportunity to ride their bikes,
Mm-hmm.
be in front of the kids, picnic, you changed your approach to living in life. I know Fix certainly, has young kids at home, as do I. And so it changes your approach on things, and seeing the visual of neighborhoods, of people sitting outside, playing, riding their bikes, and being a community again. Like all the, you would see a little street, and somebody would be sitting outside playing guitar, and
Yeah.
And I thought that was beautiful. For me, one of the good things was certainly Aragon Wine Market. This coming into my life was so beautiful. Charlotte reached out to me prior to the shutdowns in March, which a lot of people don't realize.
It was really.
And early February, she contacted me and said that she, was interested in having me come work for her. And I had just left a role after 10 years to launch my company. And I was like, this self-employment, working for myself is great, but I'm used to working 70 hours a week. And this is just, yes, I would love this opportunity. I don't know a lot about wine. And she said, but you know people, and made me feel very comfortable about the opportunity it was a new endeavor. And it was my first thought, I made a post about it, was don't be afraid to suck at something new. And
when you haven't sucked one bed.
But then I came into it, and it's literally been the best thing of 2020. Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Weeks later, all of the weddings and events got shut down, so it would have vastly changed the dynamic of the spring for my family and myself. And I was thankful to have this be essential. And
that's right. We've been essential.
We've been essential, and we appreciate all of you keeping us essential.
Thank you.
And definitely Fix, providing us with this opportunity to explore. This has been the coolest learning experience for me from a hobby standpoint. That now, my dad called me a wine merchant not too long ago. Hi, Dad. I saw you comment. I'm glad you're loving your wine from China. And Lisa, we're so happy that you're here with us too. You guys always support us so well.
Thank you guys.
And share all of our posts on social media. And we certainly appreciate your business. And we're happy you're here with us. But I lost my train of thought because I wanted to comment on them. But yeah, Fix, you've explored it. You've taken us around the world. I mean, we've spoken to the winemakers in Argentina. We've spoken to, in Portugal,
Italy and France.
Quinta de la Rosa, 5th generation winemakers since 1805. Having the opportunity, Julie Johnson, as a female, girl gang, girl power, to talk to
Laurent Noblet.
Yeah.
If he's still on there, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, and the great thing is that a lot of times when we're bringing some of these guys and girls, ladies, whatever, men and women around, when we're coming to taste your own wines over the course of a normal, quote unquote, year, when we come in and show you, what wines they have and talk about the properties and the soil structure, and we generally have a short amount of time, and we taste the wines and we decide if they're right for whoever. But some of these things have been really fun because we've had an opportunity to see a lot of imagery, get a sense of what it is, what the place is, get a sense of who the winemakers are, what the spirit is behind the wine.
The story.
And there's been a lot of themes, the story, and there's been a lot of themes that have run through. A lot of them haven't really been on purpose necessarily, but they've just kind of fallen into that sort of serendipitous way.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot of really great opportunities to really connect with people. It sounds weird, but even on a more human level than we normally do in our transactional daily basis. Because a lot of times when we're just out there working every day, it's transactional. Even if it's not a buy-sell thing, everything is just kind of transactional. It's point A, point B, open, close, start the car, turn off the car, whatever. And, one of the things I've appreciated about what we've been doing, but also just like the COVID thing in general, is not treating life like a transaction, but treating life like an experience. And I think that I hope when we come out of it, that we appreciate that we've been able to have these kinds of better connections with people. I think whenever we're faced with traumatic events, we generally come out of those things with more empathy, with more connectivity. I mean, going back to, being in college or whatever, I didn't just get out of college, but when I was in college when 9/11 hit, and my brother was working in Manhattan, and there was that whole craziness. And then after the fact, we had this connectivity with Americans that was really magical in a way. And we've kind of had that through this whole thing too. And so when we have these bad things, we also have some of these really, truly wonderful things that happen along with them. And I say that 9/11 thing only to say, like, we've been through this stuff before. We've been through tough years.
Yeah.
I hope, and I know we're only 30, but we've had a couple of bad years before where I'm sure we've felt worse than we have during this year, much worse. I know I have, so it was a rough year, but we've had worse, and we're always the better for it, I think, if we can look at it that way.
Yeah, and I think we do. I think that I think most people do. I hope that most people do, but I'm optimistic about that. So
yeah, I know that definitely. I know that we have all faced things throughout our lives that have been huge, and throughout the years that for some people certainly have been worse than 2020 was. But from those good things, you take away from that new things from that new, hobbies and things that are revived and things that are focused on. And
this what we're doing right now. I mean, the fact that, I love our wine tastings in store, and we will do those again. But for now, these are awesome. And being able to see people from all over the different parts of the world and connect, like you said, connect on a more personal level. I mean, it's pretty cool. And I think the wine industry in general is having to learn how to deal with all this, as well. I mean, there's tasting rooms out in California that, are shut down as well. I mean, it's all, a way of dealing with what we're dealt, the cards we're dealt.
And that's like the good and the bad, like you said, like a lot of these wineries who maybe have one wine that is very selective. They only go to like the steakhouses, or they only go to, it's a Brunello, it only goes to Italian restaurants who, do this or that. Well, we haven't had some of those places open. We haven't had people visiting the wineries. A lot of wineries, remember, people who own wineries or run wineries or are winemakers or growers, they're not millionaires. They really, everything that happens over the course of a year really affects their lives.
They're farmers and families.
Right.
They're farmers and artisans, so we've had the luxury really to have some tastings with some people, and also some wines available for a retail account such as Aragon.
Yeah.
Normally would never be available.
Ooh, I will tell you, I've been buying more wines, more expensive wines that I've ever since we opened. And
really?
Some of the wines that I've got are stuff that, when we opened, I was like, well, I need to have this and I need to have that. And I was all like, and then you get down to the nitty gritty and you're like, I got to sell some wine,
Right.
Not everything can be $100 bottle that's sitting on the shelf looking pretty. It's gotta, it's gotta move. It's gotta go. And so, but this year, no, it's been nice. We've been putting in some nice stuff in, and, maybe it has been moving pretty quickly, but I mean, but even if it doesn't, I'm okay with it just sitting there looking pretty for a while.
The cellar does look beautiful. So
it does look beautiful.
So many wonderful bottles in there.
These are like my little babies.
There was a gentleman the other day that just like stood outside and looked. I was like, you can go inside. And he was like, oh, I was like, yes, sir, you may go in. Please, it's unlocked. And he did, of course, and made a purchase. And that
They're
was
like
awesome.
my little babies,
They're so
because like I have a couple of bottles left of the Penfolds Grange in there that I bought when we first opened, and they've been sitting in there little pristine.
Marinating.
And I know, and I can't buy them for what I'm selling them for now. I mean, like they're crazy expensive, but like every time one of them leaves the nest and goes, I'm like, bye, my little babies. But and we got 100 acre in this year,
did.
and it's an expensive bottle,
Yeah,
and it's
a
probably
three-pack
going to be
case,
one of those
$6.20 a
that,
bottle.
yeah, it's probably going to be one of those that sits in here for a while and becomes good friends with
But
us.
it's so beautiful in the case, and to see it and the inscription that's in, it's just that's beautiful to me.
But those people have been really buying a lot of that stuff. I mean, I can tell you I know from my end, because of what people are buying from me, I know that they're selling it to somebody, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think people are
celebrating.
People are just
drinking.
yeah, they want to have they're if they can afford it, they want to have that stuff that maybe they never would buy, and maybe they used to look at on restaurant wine list and they wouldn't buy there because the markup is obviously higher. And so now they see them out in the wild, as it were, and they're like, you know what? I am going to buy that bottle of 100 Acre.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to buy that bottle of Amarone or whatever, And I think that that's great. I think that that's really wonderful, and people are cooking more at home now over the course.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the
And
cooking,
that's where it gets.
obviously, baking was a big meme. I guess everybody's learning how to bake. I don't know why you would take COVID to learn how to bake.
I'm not a good baker.
You should learn how to
bake.
braise some lamb shanks or something. That's much more forgiving than baking sourdough.
Thank you. I was thinking,
but good kudos to you for the challenge, I gotta say.
I was thinking about what we were thinking about, like what hobbies, what have you done?
What have you taken away from 2020?
I've been cooking a lot
You
more.
have been.
I know, but
Your gumbo was awesome.
But I am not a baker, but I've definitely been cooking a lot more. And I've been doing stuff like you said, I haven't done a lamb shank, but that's maybe on my list. I've been doing stuff that I've been afraid of in the past that have seemed like daunting. But of course it takes all day to cook, and I'm have all day to cook. So my gumbo, my bolognese, I've been doing some stuff that have been scary.
Did you put ginger in the cranberries?
Ginger and horseradish in your cranberry sauce. If anybody's looking for a cranberry sauce,
that was
I got it.
So good. But you did that all day, right? You spent all day on that?
Oh, I spent all day. And I made my first turkey, made my first ham, but it was really preheated.
I can't believe you've never made a ham or a turkey, though, I have to say. That is kind of surprising.
Well,
never a ham?
Bombed my
Is it a fresh ham, or are you talking about a smoked ham? What are we talking about?
Yeah, I bombed it.
Mine wasn't that great either. But
I'm so thankful that my mother is the amazing Italian cook that she is. That, oh my goodness.
Let's do Les Manel.
Let's move on to Les Manel.
Wait, can we? We have to talk about Mr. Jensen though too.
Yes, Mr. Jensen sipping a 30-year-old rice wine imported from China.
Yeah, can we just? I've said this a couple of times to Jessica off air and maybe even on air that this man is the international man of mystery, like par excellence.
He's pretty cool.
I'm having a 30-year-old rice wine imported from China, and also I was a stunt man, and I was this. That and
he's pretty cool.
He's
in mid-production filming a movie that'll be released at the end of the summer that I'm super proud of him for. So
on Netflix, right?
Yep.
He's like, I make my own tamales and I make my own flannel shirts, and I make bespoke bicycles.
And his wife looks like, she's
shared as gorgeous and brilliant
in herself. She's beautiful. Yeah, he's a pretty cool fella. He's a character. I met him, and he literally is a character in a movie.
Yes, my dad's
very cool.
The cowboy lawyer. He's a 6'2" cowboy that comes in with a powerful presence and is brilliant, and that's definitely a priority. Thankful for my family, and my dad's super supportive and has been watching the shows, and so I'm thankful that he's here to comment. So.
Well, and I'll also say that Charles is saying y'all are so incredibly lucky to have Jessica.
Charles is one of my best friends
and I agree with you, Charles. Thank you so much for commenting on that, because you're
Ringer.
Right. You are correct, sir.
Ringer.
Okay.
Les Manel.
So, Les Manel is my favorite champagne.
Yes.
I did a controversial Facebook post recently that said, and I'm not even going to say what it said, but hashtag one of the ones that has an orange label is for suckers. Because this
orange label. There's an orange label? Why not?
Yellow label.
Anyway, if you don't get it, then fine. I shouldn't have even said it. I shouldn't be talking bad about any other champagne.
See, I guess Charlotte went about it. She said it. She went one step further with the mystery, but then we totally.
No, I liked your point on the post though when you went to it further, which it's hard to carry a wine. Hold on for a second. Thank you. It's hard to carry a wine when we are a boutique. We're your neighborhood wine store. We're here to have unique finds and beautiful, interesting, incredible bottles that have 150 case production, 150,000 case production, not 3 million or whatever it is, the variants. And when something like that can be carried at a grocery store or at another store that's more widely distributed at 10% under what our cost is because of the quantity.
Our cost. Like I can buy it
difficult
at the grocery store cheaper
less.
than I can buy it.
It's a challenge.
Wholesale.
And when you know that you have access to champagnes that you like more, why not introduce your community to champagnes that you like better?
That's right. I don't mean to be dissing anybody, but I did. But
Well, and I think if there's anybody listening in other parts of the country, it's not that way everywhere too, because when I've lived in New York for my entire adult life except for the last 5 years, and you couldn't buy wine in supermarkets or a gas station or whatever. I mean, I was out in 38. Yeah, drugstores. I was out on 38, whatever, a few months before COVID, and there was Dom Perignon in a gas station.
That's crazy.
Family Dollar. I mean, everything.
It's crazy.
Well, but that's not. And that's not to say that Dom Perignon is not good. It is. And but again, it's not like that everywhere in the country. So it's a little different sometimes in Florida too. And so it gets a little confusing for people, I think, to understand
right.
Who's like a family-owned winery, or who's this, or who's that, and also it messes with price, like you said, a little bit, and then you throw restaurants into the equation.
Yeah.
I think if we've learned anything about COVID from this aspect too, I think we'll see some leveling out of all of that. I think because people are doing a lot more at home, and I think that's going to continue even.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I didn't mention it earlier, but that was one of the good things I took away from 2020 was literally the normalizing to-go food. Normalizing the process of us having access to taking a meal home for our family because I don't want to sit in the restaurant with my 3-year-old.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Great. I don't have to cook.
Or I just want to be in my
nightrobe.
And
yes, I just want to be home and hang out hang out in the courtyard, and I don't want to
exactly hang out in the courtyard.
Look at what some of these guys were doing with their to-goes. They did an amazing job, and they still are.
Yeah,
Never would they have ever done that great of a job previously because it was not a focus.
Yeah, and that just goes to show. Adversity makes what do you call it? Intuition, not intuition. When you're trying innovation.
Yes. Adversity creates
Richard
innovation.
Jensen, I'm sorry.
But
he's just going, oh my God, shut her up. But it is.
He's on the news like Richard Jensen is. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, tonight on the Fleecing of America, Limonil.
But we did.
That was actually my grandfather in a Chuck Norris movie. He played a broadcaster. That's real talk. My grandfather was in a Chuck Norris movie.
Yeah, that was cool. I saw
that. Yeah, I forgot it was grandfather. I was doing my bad Tom Brokaw.
Okay, yeah, not my dad. Anyway,
nobody
let's
Tom Brokaw
talk
impression
about
again.
Limonil because that's what people are watching.
Correct.
It's a wine show. It is my favorite. We decided. I think we may have said that we were going to do the regular one, but we decided to bump it up because it's New Year's Eve and do the vintage. It's 2013 vintage. I would say, it's perfectly delicious right now. You could definitely put it in your cellar for, a couple of years and bring it out and enjoy it even more. In fact, I probably will do that. Absolutely. It's hard for me with those though, because I want to drink them all right now but that also has been my theme this year is to, drink old, cellar young. So put all your stuff that you're buying now in your cellar and try. Well, maybe buy a couple bottles. Buy one to drink now.
That's really good advice. You gave that.
And then put it away because you can't. You can, but it's hard to buy vintage. You have to do it yourself, really. You know.
Well, it's hard to buy vintage champagne. It's quite expensive typically, and this is probably, I would not say probably. I don't know of a vintage champagne that is this price, especially one that's 100% ground cru.
Yeah.
So it's
Blanc
all
de Blanc.
vineyards and Blanc de Blanc, which typically those are more expensive because it's a little harder to make a Blanc de Blanc. You have a little less leeway to blend in different grapes. So you have to be a little bit more laser focused and a little bit more selective with where you're getting the grapes from. So it's a lot more difficult to make a great Blanc de Blanc. And this is a vintage Grand Cru Blanc de Blanc for $60.
Right.
And so most people
Crazy.
watching
That's
this
crazy.
know what Blanc de Blanc means. But if you are wondering, so champagne is usually Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and sometimes Pinot Meunier, if you're gonna put it in there, and a lot of ones do. But if it's gonna be a higher level, the Pinot and the Chard are the better ones. And if it's a 100% Chardonnay, it's a Blanc de Blanc. So I mean,
That was actually something that I learned this year. I didn't know that. I didn't ever know that.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Blanc de Noir versus Blanc de Blanc. And
so Blanc de Noir is
Right.
just Pinot Noir grapes. And people get confused because they're like, well, it's white. How's it Pinot Noir? Well, you know, it happens.
Exactly.
all the grapes, you know, if you squish a grape in your fingers, what does the juice look like? If you take a
Right.
red grape from your table and squish it, what does the juice look like, right? That's my way that I express that to people. It
Yeah.
generally doesn't really have much color to it, right? But when you let it sit on the skins or whatever, when you ferment the grape juice, then of course you get the color. But you know, I would say that, like, going back to your idea about cellaring this wine, Blanc de Blancs sometimes, and this one for me personally has a really vibrant acidity to it.
Yeah.
It's not as big body wise. It's not as brioche as some other champagnes, but there's a lot of really crisp and clean and sort of laser focused kind of acidity with this wine. So because of that high acidity, I think this wine will age really, really well. I think, you know, a few years is probably possible. You know, most vintage champagnes can go several years.
Yeah.
And this wine, because of the high acidity, it's going to start to tone itself down slower and slower and slower, and then bring out more of those tertiary sort of like appley skin notes and, you know, apple pie things and brioche.
And like and maybe even a little caramel to it. You can't
popcorn or something.
You just can't you can't buy that. That's the thing. I mean, you have to do it yourself. I drank a 2005 a Vineyard 29 Cabernet last night. It was delicious. Can I find that? No, because I went to look it up and it's like out of stock. Because I was gonna like, well, what's the price? What's people saying about it? You know, seller tracker. I wanted to see, should I open it now? And every place I looked, it's out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. You can't buy those. I mean, and there are probably some online places that have old vintages that you can buy, but for the most part, you got to do that yourself. And that's what I say. Just come in, buy you some nice stuff, and just put them away. Maybe buy two if you're that fortunate.
And I think that's always a question that's worth
Definitely
asking.
buy more than one. Definitely buy more than one. Because
If
why?
you can, yeah.
If you save it for 5 years, you open it up and it's corked or it's just not good, you feel really bad about what you did. If you buy two and you didn't open them up, you can have a chance to open up a second, or you can buy one and open it up like a few years prior.
Yeah.
And okay, maybe this can go a few more years, or maybe not.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
Figure it out.
in a perfect world, you'd buy a case and just drink them when you know, as you wanted. But
Buy the case.
Right.
6-packs are very easy. They fit under your bed very easily, in my experience.
Right.
Magnums also.
I think I do know somebody that keeps their magnums under their bed, which is a very interesting place to keep your magnums. But hey, whatever floats your boat. I mean, you got kids in the house, you know. You got
those wine bottles.
Yeah. So anyway, it is my favorite champagne. I think the price is really, really spectacular. I do think it's age worthy.
We did the 2012 for the virtual tasting. You know,
Was it right?
Mm-hmm.
We've
several
moved up
weeks
to a
ago.
vintage.
So
We've
this is
moved to the
another
new
vintage.
vintage.
This is the 2013. I don't know that I get any different notes per se from it. It's just so beautiful. But it is a new vintage from what we had done
that's
previously.
good to know.
Mhm.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It just changed vintages. Like, I mean, it might have been a month or
Like
two ago.
very
It was
recent.
pretty recent. And the other thing I would say too is we talked about the value. It's extraordinary because again, Grand Cru. These are the best
Yeah.
vineyards from a single village in Champagne.
Yeah.
And this is a cooperative grower operation, which I had somebody come in here. We talked about it with a customer earlier before we went on about grower champagnes, which is a grower that grows all their own grapes, makes all their champagne in their domain. You know, just like a Burgundy producer would, or you know, a small Sonoma County producer might do potentially. And this is a co-op of different growers, all growers of champagne in Neal, and then they bring all their fruit together. They cooperatively bring all their fruit together, and then they make this champagne at the winery. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. There's power in numbers there, but you know you're getting it all from a few different vineyard sources, just a few, not thousands or whatever. It's not, they're not making a million cases or anything like that. So it's one village, all those growers from that one village, and they pool all their resources together. And that's one of the reasons why you can afford, something like this at this price for $60. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's really good with potato chips, which we sampled 3 different types
So good.
earlier. Because champagne and chips are great. Anything fried is great with champagne, but we have 3 different potato chips that we tried, and this was great with all 3 of them.
So if you're a real big baller, you can, and I will just call him out on this. Bill Carlson did one of our Carlson Christmases. He did a potato chip with a little creme fraiche and caviar on top to go with the champagne. So I mean, if you're again a big baller, it would be delicious. It is delicious. I had it.
You can get some caviar even at Publix, I think. I think you can get some.
You can. Also, I would say that if you really want to go, there's a place online called Caviar Star, and you can get numerous different types, and you can just get 1 ounce of this or 2 ounces, or if you want more, 1 ounce is probably plenty. But what's fun, I went camping recently and went to Coldwater Gardens.
Is that what you did when you went camping?
Yeah, so I got online and
yes, camping and caviar.
Well, we were getting engaged.
Of course. No, it's amazing. It's the best.
Yeah, and we took a Krug.
I know. Camping, caviar, and Krug.
Yes. Oh. I know. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean, just go and get some. Now I just sound like a jerk.
No, you don't. It sounds amazing. It literally sounds like a package that we could absolutely
potato chips. Just get a bag of potato chips, rip them open, and eat it with your champagne.
Yeah, and if you don't want to buy champagne, get yourself an ice cold bottle of vodka like the Russians do, and drink some vodka with your caviar. You know what I'm saying?
Vodka.
Not that we're talking about vodka today, but I mean, still, they just get an ice cold bottle of vodka, and that's pretty good too.
But honestly, I would say, I mean, talking about pairings, like champagne, people think it's just for toasting. Mm-hmm. People think it's just for celebrations. People think it's for, weddings and stuff like that. But I mean, you can pair it with a meal. It's definitely not just something for chips, which it's delicious with. But I like it with fried food.
Mm-hmm. I love it with we paired earlier this year we did the Sula, the Brut Tropical, and we paired that with the Thai food we got from Cons for the training.
Yeah,
that was really good. So having that spicy element there with that was delicious. And then, I mean, for us, I've loved that we not always, but often start with a bubbly, and it is a palate cleanser. It is a refresher. It does, open up your mouth and your palate to explore, and
it's an upper.
It's great. I love champagne.
It's like the tequila of the wine world.
Senorita Bubbleita came into my life. It was like, hello.
I know, right?
Remember, it's got some sugar too. A Brut is a little bit sweeter than people realize. Yeah. And the great thing about that is you can pair it with some spicy foods. If you've had some spicy things that you're really not sure go with wine that well, like we talked about Thai food, Indian food, those are great with Brut champagnes. Really great like Mexican food,
tacos,
carne asada, like all that kind
Yeah,
of
for
stuff.
sure. Well,
That would be great. Fried chicken, definitely fried.
chicken. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
we did have it with fried chicken recently, and of course any of the seafoods, crab and
Oysters.
royal ribs, oysters.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean it's good with all of that.
absolutely.
So yeah, I mean I think you could plan a meal around different champagnes. Start out with something lighter, move to like a Blanc de Noir. I mean you could definitely pair different champagnes with different foods, and I don't think that people do that enough.
We had a customer, Blake and Helen, weeks ago that they were eating around the world, and their concept together was they were going to be trying foods from all over. And I don't know the full concept, completely, but what my absorption was, they were going to just be trying foods from everywhere. And they sent me the list of countries they would be trying foods for, and the objective was to pair food or pair wine with food of that region that would go with it. And anytime you want to do something fun like that, or I want to do an event with my girlfriends for a girls night out, and we want to pair, and do a champagne tasting. We do special events, and I know we're running on 50 minutes, so I definitely want to hit on this before we digress. But we do special events, and since we can't do these beautiful group wine tastings of the 30 and 40 people, we definitely want to hone in on the opportunity that we absolutely do private wine tastings on property. Anything
we've done some great stuff here,
wine tastings.
Yeah, we've had, and I don't know what everybody's doing these days, but we've had people come in for engagement parties. We've actually had people get engaged in the courtyard. We've had bachelorette parties. We've had client appreciation.
Absolutely.
Just different stuff like that. And right now we're happy to do those smaller events. So feel free to contact Jessica. She's already a party planner. You're kind of really getting the best of both worlds when you call her. I love to brainstorm.
So whatever ideas you have, we can certainly, make it work here. We're doing groups of up to 10 people. Yeah. But it definitely is appropriate any night of the week, except for Sundays, because that's reserved for fun day. But any night of the week I called it I was trying to think of like ideas and packages, and it was like the ultimate date night kickoff.
Yes.
So come here.
We've actually had
have a scheduled tasting, and have maybe you pre-select the wines, or maybe you certainly obviously let us know that you're coming, so that we can take care of it and let us do it for you.
Yeah.
And then that way you can explore and try something new, and it's intimate and a different experience. You're getting education, you're learning, and having, again, the human experience of that.
We had this great group of people that would come every year. They didn't come this year, but it was a weird year. But every year they would come and kick off this dude's birthday here. They would come here, do a special wine tasting, and then go hit Palafox or whatever they did. I don't know what they did after, but it was his birthday. And so it was a cool, every year tradition. And I mean, we're happy to do stuff like that,
Absolutely.
Well, so I guess we're getting near the end, huh?
I guess we are. So do we want to, were there any other takeaways that we wanted to?
Let's finish this up, and then let's talk about what's happening next week.
That's right.
Anything you want to finish up? Fix?
Any final remarks, Fix?
No, get into what we're going to do next week.
So next week is going to be really fun. We are going to, let's see. Sorry, I didn't make it to Aragon, but enjoying nice. You enjoyed the Blanc de Blanc. Well, thank you.
We miss seeing everyone in person as well.
Yeah, we miss it too. But thanks for tuning in and enjoying the wine with us. So next week we are going to have trivia.
Yay!
Yeah, and we're really excited about this. It's going to be a big deal. We're going to, you're going to have wine questions. You're probably going to have pop culture questions, maybe a little geography in there, all kinds of different fun things. And so what we'll want you to do is tune in and get right by your computer. We are going to be drinking some wines while we're doing it. We're going to be drinking a French white called the Côte d'Est. It's a wonderful. I mean, we can't keep it in stock. Delicious. It goes so fast. I'm not sure why we're doing it.
Grenache and Rollet blend that is just. I mean, it's become a staff favorite.
People love it. I mean, so like I said, I can't keep it in stock. So we're doing that, and then we're doing the Ariolis Cananao from Sardinia. And Fix, you can tell us a little bit about both of those, and then we'll talk about the trivia.
Yeah, the Côte Est is from southern France. It's kind of close to Provence, and so it's got this really wonderful white blend, as Jessica alluded to. It takes a little bit of like a little bit of Rhone grape and sort of goes down then into the sort of Provence area and Languedoc, and has that roll, which is Vermentino,
which roll, not Rollet.
Which is, I think I always get confused by that one, but it's really cool because Vermentino is actually really well known in Sardinia. It's a really famous grape there, so we've kind of tied the two together there. Hey. And it's a terrific white wine, and I think people are really going to love it. It's something I would say, like, hey, make some Cioppino or something. It would be awesome with Cioppino. And then we're going to do the Sardinian, the Argiola Cananao, which is a Grenache, which is their name for Grenache in Sardinia, which doesn't seem sort of like an Italian grape, but they are the second biggest island in the Mediterranean. So they've kind of been conquered by different countries and things, and different grapes have made their way there. It's a really awesome grape. It's well known in Sardinia that they believe that, and I know this for a fact, that this red wine in Sardinia brings you long life. They live longer in Sardinia than most other people. There's other reasons for that too, but I think red wine is one major aspect of it. So it's a really great wine if you want instead to focus on the red wine. You can do some braised dishes like we talked about, or do some bolognese, something like that. Like it would be awesome with that, or some lamb chops on the grill or something. It would be really terrific with that kind of stuff. So a couple different things, but they both have a really great Mediterranean flair.
Yeah.
They really do. I mean, one's in the Mediterranean, one is right kind of on the Mediterranean on the coast. So really cool stuff.
Both of them are very popular at the store, and they have been for. I mean, the Cananao has been in the store for years. The Côte Est is a little. I'd say months, but both of them have been like super popular, and we love them, of course. And
if everybody knows anything about Lafage too, like everybody who's had Lafage wines here, whether it be the Testolé Lafage or the Cuvée Nicolas, it's made by the same producer, Domaine Lafage. So they're really well-known southern French producers that make some terrific red wines that I think a lot of people are familiar with, but they might not be familiar with the white. So
yeah. Absolutely.
And talk about the trivia part of it. So we're going to have, like we said, a multitude of questions. Whoever the winner is, we're going to give away some bottles of wine. We're going to give you, we're gonna hope that you're not Googling everything, but we're not going to give you.
We're going to trust your honesty.
Yeah. We're not going to give you a ton of like really super crazy questions that you would have to Google anyway. There might be some that you'd be like, I'm not sure if it's this or that. We're gonna trust that you're honest. We're not gonna give you more than really, 15 or 20 seconds. I guess is probably the most we would say. And then we'll have our AV Club. AV Club is here from the high school. They will be tallying all the scores while we're doing all the fun glitzy things. So they'll tally the scores from people who answer, and it'll just be simple. Like you either got 20, right, and 18 or whatever it is. And if there's a tiebreaker, we'll have a tiebreaker question, and that's it, and it'll be fun. So I hope that gives somebody an incentive, because we've given away some bottles occasionally for a few things here. It's been very random, but this one where this is here, you're going to get something from the store.
Yeah, definitely. We're excited about it. It'll be lots of fun, and we need you guys, though. I mean, I appreciate everybody that's commented tonight. But we need you guys to participate. It's going to be a thing, and we'll give you a little reward at the end with the bottles. So, by the way,
we're gonna put out an email blast too, obviously, so that there'll be a little bit of a reminder on that, and and it's.
I'll put it all in the newsletter Monday.
It's the first week of the year, so what else are you going to be doing? I mean, really, on a Thursday? Like, come on.
If anybody didn't know, this is the namesake of the
Francois.
wine we were drinking today. Francois Montan. That's right.
Oh.
He's a sweetheart.
He's happy to see Mom.
He is happy to see
Aw.
me and you.
Well,
so
this is our final. Oh, Fix is out of here. Thank you so much for
Yep.
tuning in. We really appreciate your
I
business
know,
and your
thank
support
you guys.
this year.
I know it's been
Happy New
been a
Year.
wild ride, and we're really looking forward to 2021. Gosh, I mean,
Onward.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.